Welcome back to the place where blood-soaked attire is acceptable. The Horror House. I am your host for tonight, Metal. We have a movie that I can only describe as a masterpiece of low budget. A horror film so cheesy, it's not Gouda. Shark Side of the Moon. Now, this is a Tubi original directed by Glenn Campbell and Tammy Klein, who you might know of them, who they did the Dune knockoff and the Aladdin knockoff for The Asylum, which, if you know The Asylum, they made the Sharknado series. So that should tell you everything you need to know about what kind of movie this is. Brings us quite a crazy concept. So the concept of this movie is Russian scientists create humanoid shark super soldiers that can survive any situation. And the bad news is they escape the facility. They are lured into a space rocket by cosmonaut Sergei and shot off to the moon. 40 years later, Americans plan to colonate the moon, I guess, but become stranded there when they find out sharks have already done so. Before we jump in, let you guys know we stream over here on Twitch. If you guys feel like coming over, we stream every Wednesday and Friday at 9 p.m. Mountain Time. Link will be in the description below. Now, let's break down this movie. I don't know if you guys are ready for this. It is such a gem. Now, it opens up with some basic NASA footage. I'm pretty sure it's like stock footage. This movie has a lot of stock footage in it. 1984, America dominates the exploration of space. Opens at a top secret Soviet base somewhere near Moscow. Sergei is feeding the sharks when he is scared by Alosha, his colleague, who's the other scientist. Sergei drops the bucket rolls and hits one of the laser grids, and the laser grid short circuits, I guess, and the sharks are able to get out. Now, this whole thing is keeping the sharks from escaping. The two, though, are kind of like oblivious, and you can see that there's some laughable CG, laughable green screen happening. But of course, you know, the budget's so low and the CG is so bad that the laser grid is still up. A red alert happens and the sharks escape. We get a very, very good look at a whole horde of sharks crawling out of the tank, chasing down the scientists and attacking the people in the building. Oh, here they come. This is the money shot right here. Right there. Look at that. So evil. So shark-like. I think most of the budget went to this one shot. People are being killed, eaten. It's a very ambitious sequence, but the CG is very terrible. It's just a bunch of people like flopping over. And I can only assume the director's like, okay, imagine yourself being attacked by an 8-foot shark with legs. Go. Oh, dude, the guy got taken out. Look at that. So, like, I don't know what the point of that was, to take her shoe off and fight an 8-foot shark with her heel. Not a good move, lady. Not a good move. See what I mean when I say flopping? People are being mowed down and they can't let the sharks get into the ocean, or if they do, it's game over. Then they'll lay their eggs and they'll come out of the ocean and take over the world. The whole plot of the movie. So the scientists, they lead these sharks to the spaceship. Luckily, they have a spaceship waiting there. Not sure how they lured all these sharks onto the spaceship, but all the sharks follow them for some weird reason. I don't know. It's to keep the plot moving, I guess. Look at that. Look at the chunkster. So chunky. Alosha must buy more time for Sergei, or else the sharks will break into the cockpit and kill them all. So he sacrifices himself. Grabs a flare gun that looks like a Nerf gun. Pretty sure it's a Nerf gun. Shoots it down the hallway. Distracts the sharks long enough, but Sergei's able to shoot the rocket off to the moon, where then it cuts to the opening Shark Side of the Moon. It sets the tone of the movie right away. And it doesn't hold back. It's very ambitious. I mean, what can you say? I feel like this is one of those movies where they brought in a bunch of like beginner visual effects artists. And they're just like, okay, this is what we want. Do your best to make it. And it's janky as all hell, but I mean, people flopping like dead fish. Sharks looking like PS2 graphics. I think the true horror of this movie is the CG and the green screen. Don't worry, we get some green screen spear fighting later on. Pretty glorious. Let's fast forward to present day, okay? Americans, they're getting ready to launch to the moon. Here we meet our crew, which we are stuck with for the rest of the movie. I don't think there's anyone that you really hate in this movie. They're all pretty decent. You know, there isn't like one person you hate, but they're about to launch and engineer Gilmore isn't feeling well. Must have been the tacos, which is the actual line that she delivers in the movie. Turns out after the doctor touches her belly and checks her eyes, she has appendicitis because he's just that good. And she can't fly. So they must bring in the alternate engineer who's on standby. Now, no one likes this dude for some reason, you know, especially the captain, because he's the bad boy. We know this because of the montage that they do of this guy. I can't really explain it. I just need to show you this montage. Cue! Look how fast he's going on the... And then this is him pushing the elevator button to the spaceship, but it is a button to cross for the crosswalk.
Howdy, boss. Prepped and ready to go to the moon. I hear the computer's killer.
Michael.
Aero profile surface test activated, Commanderino.
Commanderino. What a badass. What a bad boy. I'm so edgy. Commanderino. I'm pretty sure that was all free stock footage. I think I've used some of that stock footage in other videos. Now, he's far from the coolest dude or coolest dude type or the bad boy type. He oozes mom's basement and stamp collection to me, honestly. You may have noticed the acting though. It's what you would expect from a straight to TV movie. This is what that pretty much is. But I mean, you're not watching it for the acting because the acting doesn't matter in this movie. It does not matter. So drop that shit right now, all right? You're here for the sharks. You're here for sharks on the moon. And that is what this movie gives you. And much, much more. Much, much, much more. So much more. They talk a lot of sci-fi gibberish. The writers of this movie don't know what they're talking about, but you just go along with it anyways. Like, yeah, okay, sure, that makes sense. I know. You know, they're all excited to go to the moon, and then we are hit with this joke from Bad Boy Michael.
Everyone ready to go to the moon?
Oh, shoot.
What is it, Michael?
I think I left my stove on. Remind me to not leave you alone in the galley.
So good. Oh, classic joke. Whoever wrote this had their humor turned up to broil, because I'd have to be baked to find that funny. It's fair. Bad joke. Bad joke. The Americans launch off to the moon in a spectacular CG rocket. You know, no one in this shot is wearing a seatbelt. I mean, you're hitting how many G's in that rocket? It's a successful launch, and they're off to the moon. We meet redhead girl, who's like the smartest person ever, and you know, she found 1,000 new uses for algae. That's pretty cool, and there's so many useless characters in this movie. I don't remember their names, but don't worry, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, okay? So it's flying to the moon, and they have to adjust course because of some electrical interference. Not sure what it is, and you know, they can't get in touch with NASA or whatever it's called, but you know, they're having issues here, okay? It's not looking good. Now, they're about to make their descent when they are hit with the interference from the Van Halen belt. Oh, whoa! Van Halen, what are you doing?
She's up here now!
She's in a hurry. I'm gonna run. But it shouldn't be causing this much interference, but it is. What? And they're veering off course. What?
We're not getting back on course.
And they keep going off course, can't get back on it. Their comms are cut out, the systems are fried, and they're going to crash course. Luckily, the captain is crazy enough to restart the ship. Whoa. What are they gonna do? But it is weird. What's happening?
I'm not getting control. We need to do something now.
Restart the ship.
See? I told you, she's fucking crazy. Restarting a ship as you're descending violently towards the moon? Crazy idea, I like it. So they get the systems back on so they don't crash or explode as they try and land. So they use their boosters to slow them down and they have a hard landing on the moon. Yeah. Oh, turbulence. Oh, there goes a satellite.
That won't matter if we don't survive this landing.
I love how everyone's like on like their like iPads, like, I'm doing something, trust me. I am adjusting things here, okay? It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Ah, no dust or nothing. Look at that. Oh, there's the dust effect. It was a really rocky landing, but everyone is A-okay. Don't worry, don't worry. But the ship's in bad shape, man. And, you know, they're locked out of the system and they're stuck on the moon now with no communications to NASA. They think it's bad now. Well, wait till they find out that there's sharks on the moon. Satellite they destroyed, that was their only means of being able to talk to Earth, but they can't now. They need to find another way to repair the ship and get back to Earth. They decide to moonwalk to the U-22, an old piece of space equipment where they are going to salvage parts and try and fix their ship. The commander leads the team, and it's very apparent they're just on a green screen in someone's basement. Everything you saw at the start, that was like where most of the budget went. It just starts to go down, but that's where the charm comes in, okay? Now, one of the girls on board the ship comes across a recording in Russian, but is brushed off because they need to finish the walkthrough. The commander and friends, they continue their walk, and they get to the U-22. You can see some clipping from the CG U-22's walking thing. Not sure what it is. But they hear a rumbling in the distance. Something beneath the ground. Is it a tremor? It's swimming right towards them. What could it be? The commander thinks that it's tire tracks from the rover, which is the dumbest shit ever. But it's really moon sharks.
A volcanic reaction? Unlikely. Nothing under the moon should cause ripples like that. The moon has magma, but no active volcanoes. Tracks?
Does that look like tracks to you? I thought you're a commander, not an idiot. The scene irks me. I've watched this too many times.
From what? A giant moon snake?
The rover?
The rover. You know what? Let's just keep moving. And a chase ensues. It's a very glorious chase scene. They're running super slow, trying to get away. One of them gets attacked and chomped on. The other shark chases the other people down. And, bad boy Michael is faced with a shark dead to rights. But the shark steps on a trap and blows up. What? Who could have set that trap? The shark comes back to life and a spear is thrown. There's that trap that goes off. Kills the shark. Look, it's just a stagnant mesh. You can tell the green screen is really bad. Okay, but we don't care. We don't care. At this point, we just don't care.
Why are there sharks on the moon?
Oh! Who is it? It's Sergey and a teenage girl with no suits, just small breathing devices. Sergey thinks that everyone there is there to rescue him because he's been trapped on the moon for 40 years. Now, this is the same Sergey we saw at the start of the movie, and he's been on the moon for 40 years. It's a long time to be on the moon. I'm sure you have questions, especially about how you survived. Maybe you have questions about the teenage girl. We'll get into that, don't worry. So how did Sergey survive so long on the moon? Why is there a teenage girl with him on the moon? Fun fact, she's half shark. Half shark and half human. Exiled from Shark City. There's a city on the moon. Because she was different. She was born different. She has a fin on her back and small gills on her chest. And she was taken in by Sergey because he has always wanted a daughter, I guess. You think it's crazy now? It hasn't even started. It gets even more insane. Even more insane. So Americans agree to take both of them back to Earth if they help fix their ship. Sergey takes them to his rover, or his spaceship that crashed there, go to his ship and to get supplies. Make sure no sharks follow them because it's not safe to go back to the American ship. Because if the sharks knew Americans had a ship, they can use that to fly back to Earth. And Earth would be doomed. You'll soon see the sharks colonize the moon and have a vast futuristic city on the moon. So why haven't they built their own ship? Well, don't ask questions. They're sharks. They don't know how to build ships. They don't know how to build means of transportation. Stop asking questions. I can't answer them. Now, they hop on the rover and the sharks are hot on their tail. But the sharks snatch one of them and takes them hostage. Oh, he snatched Henry. No.
Hurry! Drive! We have to save him! What are you waiting for? Let's go!
They will lead us into a trap.
If they were going to kill him, they would have done so.
The commander wants to chase after them, but it's a suicide mission. Don't do it. They need supplies, so they leave the guy behind. They take off back to Sergey's ship. Now we cut to Henry. Henry's the guy that got taken, and we get a shot of Shark City. Beautiful, beautiful work. Shark City. Look at that. It's a futuristic city of the sharks. Why haven't they built their own spaceship? Again, don't ask questions. He's thrown into a cage and we meet Queen Shark. Queen of the Sharks. Okay, the voiceover work in the CG model is unlike anything you've probably ever seen. Here she comes. Here she is.
I'm Zarina Selam. I'm sure you have questions. So do I.
Sure you have lots of questions. I'm sure you do. I got lots of questions too, but you know what? Let's just continue. So they return to Sergei's ship, where it shows he survived from breathing O2 from his fresh algae crop. I mean, sure, why not? This is where we find out a teenager is actually half shark. One of them, Sergei, took her in, and we get a whole backstory. And to be honest, Sergei is probably the best part of this movie. He's a funny Russian guy. Because of Russian teenage sharks, she helped make new suits to help survive the moon. And the sharks and Sergei have been using algae in their suits to breathe. Well, he has, not her, because she's a shark. She can have shark, sorry. She can breathe on the moon. It gets complicated in my brain, all right? It's just hurting my brain to even talk about this. If you're sitting there and be like, oh, that's not believable. You can't use algae to breathe on the moon. Well, first of all, it's a movie about sharks on the moon, okay? You should have turned your mind off long ago. The commander knows that trying to talk to her ship and warn people is a bad idea because the sharks could track where she is or track where they are if they try and communicate back to her. But the commander tries to talk to her ship anyways in secret because she's stupid doo-doo head. Even though Sergei said not to because electromagnetic waves drew the sharks to where you are. She does so and tried to tell her ship not to do so, even though she's doing it to let them know not to do it because she doesn't want her crew to be in danger or put them in danger. Makes sense. Don't think about that too much. Now, this sets the other Americans on the ship into a panic. Some of them suit up because, you know, they hear the communication coming through, but it keeps cutting in and out. They're like, oh, they're in trouble. We gotta go find them. Some of them suit up and they go on a moonwalk to look for their commander and other people, unaware of the sharks. We go back to Queen Shark. Queen Shark is beating Henry for information, just like bitch slapping him. Psh, of where the ship is, as well as telling him why they need it. Queen Shark wants to rule Earth. Henry, though, isn't giving them any information. So her hench, Shark, bites off his leg in good old shark fashion. Scar. Shark titty lady. Scar. That's her name. Now they gotta cauterize it. It's so good, isn't it?
Promise me you won't hurt my crew.
On my honor as Zarina.
He put his own people in jeopardy. That's why I hate Henry in this movie. Armed with new suits and spears made from moonstone, because moonstone is the only thing sharp enough to cut through the shark's skin. Luckily, they're on the moon. But they take off to rescue Henry. They stop and must continue on foot because they don't want to get too close or else the sharks will know. Now, we find out the Queen Shark was able to reproduce, and they use the line from Jurassic Park, nature finds a way. They get to the Shark City, molten lava spewing. They find an entrance to head inside, way down below, but are attacked by a shark. This is when we get some insane green screen shark fighting moon foo. Moon foo. I like that. And I think they slowed down the green screen footage of the people to give it that feeling of slow motion and weightlessness. But I think the shark is at full speed, so it's kind of weird. And the teenage shark girl does a giant leap over the shark's head, twirls her spear, kills the shark like a badass. It's very spectacular. It's amazing. She goes in for the kill. Jumps over him. Twirls her spear. And I think stabs his butthole. She does the classic just walk away and look back, showing that, yes, I just fucking did that. Can you believe what you just saw? Because I can't. It's crazy. It rivals any Jackie Chan film. Let's just say that. Asylum is really putting all their money into the visual effects. It's a masterpiece. We cut back to the American ship. The other two people went moonwalking, right, to find the captain because they heard the call coming from the captain, but it was breaking on and off. And other crew, they're still unaware of the sharks. They find Liam's arm, the first guy who got chomped to death. that we saw, and they're confused. They don't know what to make of this. They use their comms to find the commander, but it attracts the sharks. The guy gets taken out by a shark and just disappears off screen. I don't know what happens to him, just vanishes. The girl is still unaware of what's happening to him, sees the shark, and throws a moon rock at his head. And it stuns the shark. He's like, ah! So she runs for the spaceship, which is like 20 miles away or some shit. But she's eaten. And while she's being eaten, she makes some weird sounds. Some really uncomfortable sounds. 2 more people are left on the American ship. That's all, right? We had a bunch of people. Now there's only so few left. They try and reach anyone that's with the commander or the commander herself. But the sharks find out where the ship is because these people are stupid. Now we come back to Sergei and others making their way into Shark City, traversing these caves and that are crawling with sharks and trying to avoid, running into anybody. They split up to cover more ground. Commander and Teenage Shark Girl, they go together, but they are attacked by a shark running down a cave. Right now, I'll take a minute to say whoever animated the sharks did a glorious job because this running animation, comical, and it could be very memey as well. Oh, see? It's Chunkster.
Can take the low road. What? Trust me.
Oh shit. They have dead rights. I'm not sure if they animated it or it was just like a preset animation. There's really nothing to say. I know this isn't really a horror movie. I know. But it is though. It's trashy horror. It's high elevated trashy horror, okay? The backbone of the horror genre. And it's got a bit of a charm to it, don't you think? It's got a little bit of a charm to it. They kill the shark anyway because it bit its tongue and it drew blood. Once it draws blood, other sharks will know where it is and to come and rescue it, right? And get the intruders. They find Henry. His leg is now a stump. He tells them what happened and what the shark plans to do. To use the American ship, bring their eggs to Earth, get into fresh water, and pretty much take over the world. Now, they must get back to the ship as fast as they can, okay? They find the eggs of baby sharks, hundreds, thousands of them. The bad boy Michael wants to destroy them all, which I totally understand. I'm with him on that. But Teenage Shark says, no. They're innocent shark babies. They're not corrupted yet. They're baby shark do. But these uncorrupted sharks sound an alarm. They start squealing like little babies. Alert, more sharks to where they are. Teenage Shark Girl stays behind for some weird reason and runs into the Queen Shark. They have a little talk with one another. The Queen Shark says that she spared her life when she was born and that the other sharks wanted to kill her when she was born. So the queen let the human take her in. It was like a whole plot thing, I guess. That she's the link between sharks and humans. Not that it matters because the queen shark wants to destroy all humans. She gives her the word that she'll bring her to Earth with them if she helps the sharks out. Betray her human friends. But then proceeds to walk away. Queen Shark tells her goons to release the big one, a giant shark monster, to kill the rest of the humans. Now we cut to the ship. The 2 others still trying to contact the crewmates, but are attacked by sharks boarding the ship. The shark boards the ship and they have a standoff. We cut back to the crew boarding the rover, and they're not out of the woods yet because smashing through a giant moon rock is a giant shark monster that looks like a dog. There it is. I think that's a shark. The animation is spectacular. It's so clean.
Still there.
With a spear. Oh, she hits it. I don't know. At this point, I don't think the directors really care. I think the CG rover actually looks worse as we go further. And the actors are just trying to get through this movie. Watch the chase scene. They kind of look dead. Like the rover's like bumping along, but they're just kind of like stagnant. Even with the shark trying to eat them. They make it back to the ship only to find the doors have been breached. They walk into the ship. They find a dead shark and it appears 2 other crew members are still alive. Redheaded girl and other guy. So they plotted a course home, but only to have a short window. So I think 4 hours. They need to repair the ship and jumpstart it. The sharks have arrived in hordes. They need a new plan or else they're gonna die. So Henry, Mr. Stumpleg, needs a redemption because he gave up. He gave his friends up so he wouldn't be eaten. So he's gonna fix this. He gives them more time. How? It's a very touching moment between him and the commander. So he says his goodbyes and goes to give them more time. He grabs, I think, a small oxygen tank or a welding tank. It's like a handheld thing. Hops on it like a broomstick, opens the valve, and he flies off with the sharks chasing him. And shit you not, I almost choked on my own spit. There he goes! Fuck. He gets taken down. There it is. There's the blood splatter of his body and corpse.
Henry's sacrifice won't be forgotten.
Honestly, I think that might be the best part of the movie. Salute to Henry the stump leg. So the window they had to get off the moon was 4 hours. Now it has been reduced to 20 minutes. It's a huge fuck up from the other guy who's plotting all the plans, figuring all this out. Now the entire shark colony has arrived and are boarding the ship with their eggs and their supplies. They need to hide and then attack when they can to kill these sharks that are on their ship. They can't let the sharks get their flight plans or else they'll know how to get to Earth and then just bye-bye. The crew split up and go hide. They turn on all the computers because of the electromagnetic frequencies will confuse the sharks and they won't really know where they are. I guess that's what they mentioned in the movie. Redheaded girl runs into trouble and is attacked by one of the sharks and dragged off as eaten, I think. We don't really see her get eaten, but I can only assume she died. The other guy, that's not Bad Boy Michael, I never cared to remember his name, gets attacked by a shark, but Bad Boy Michael finds him and is also jumped by the same shark. The crew finds Michael about to be eaten, and then the crew surrender to the sharks and are captured by them. Now, how do the sharks know how to fly a ship? Well, according to the Queen, they broke into the ship while they were gone. Their other shark people learned how to fly it just to make sure they could do this plan. That's what she says. The commander tries to talk the sharks out of killing them, saying that they should stay here on the moon and that they would go back to Earth and they can bring supplies to them and help them colonate the moon even more. But Queen Shark is like, nah, Earth is better. I want to go there. I want to take over. Okay, I want to be the leader of the Earth. So they fire up the engines and the ship starts to take off. The crew must find a way to fight back and stop the sharks. But something happens. A surprise. Was that surprise?
Oh my god, they're gonna torch us.
Not without the fight, they aren't.
You right?
Oh shit! Look at that spear.
Gotcha.
Fucking Henry somehow survived that massive explosion, snuck past all those sharks to come back on and save his friends. But it doesn't matter because Henry dies again. And I can see she sliced him across the chest, but there's no blood or anything.
Tom's USB.
And that's the USB with the flight plans on it. I mean, Henry returns. I'm not sure how. We saw him blow up, but whatever. Okay, he saves the day, only get eaten. Unless he did something. All right, he redeemed himself. Good job. Now, the USB is holding the flight plans. They need to make it back to Sergei's ship because they can't use this ship anymore. So they're gonna go to Sergei's ship, use that ship to go back to Earth, but they're 50 feet up. One by one, they jump off the ship to get back on the moon. Also, check out this CG. CG person. Nice. Queen finds out about a hatch that's been opened by them. She goes there to stop them. The Queen gets into a fight, with Shark Girl. And Shark Girl knocks her ass out of the ship and the Queen Shark falls to her doom. I don't even know what to say to this fucking scene. No, the humans jumped out and they're fine, but the Queen Shark falls out, who's superhuman, and she's dead.
Is that Zarina?
It was. Pretty sure she got some brain damage, or worse.
It's almost like a Looney Tunes sketch with that fall animation. The Queen is dead, or brain damage. Okay, she's not really dead. I'll just say now, she's not really dead. Not a spoiler. She's not dead. They're not out of the woodwork yet. More sharks appear, so they run for the other ship. Through a minefield of booby traps that Sergei had planted, Sergei comes up with a plan to kill all the sharks by flying his ship into the center of Shark City, setting off a chain reaction of the volcano, I think, killing anything within 50 miles. Sergei shares a moment with Teenage Shark, saying goodbye to her. I'm gonna miss you. You're the best part of my life. The rest of them fight off sharks in green screen fashion. A lot of shaking cam. Somehow Sergei gets his ship off the ground. There's no runway. Somehow just goes. I mean, we're so deep into this, we can't care at the moment. Just, your brain's off. It should be off right now. What happens next, I cannot make this up, okay? The Queen Shark is alive. She shows up with giant dog shark monster. Tosses Bad Boy Michael into the shark dog's mouth. He gets eaten. Now Michael. Nom nom nom. He's gone. He's dead. Okay. She grabs the commander and throws her into the dog shark mouth. Yoink! Yummy. And she gets eaten. Nom 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 nom. Sergei flies the ship into the city, setting off a chain reaction. causing the American ship in the sky that's still going up to crash and explode in the lava. And the shark dog is shot up into space by a molten volcanic eruption that explodes the shark dog into space. See, charged shark. And the rest of the sharks are killed by the explosion. Meanwhile, the charged shark's dog body hurtles towards Earth, landing in the ocean. And the commander, Bad Boy Michael, and Teenage Shark Girl somehow emerge from the corpse of this dead shark dog thing. The shark body remain hurtles towards Earth, only to crash into the ocean. And a life raft appears from nowhere with 3 of them. Now you're gonna see some wet butt here. Wet butt. They have finally made it back to Earth, but it's not over yet because what? Teenage Shark Girl, she's pregnant. What?
Akula, I think you're pregnant.
There you go. She's pregnant and has little shark babies on this little floaty raft and decides to jump into the ocean and take care of them.
That's the son of a bitch. These teeth are sharp.
Nicole, I've got to take care of my babies.
That's how the movie ends. They leave it open for a second one. What is there to say? Trashy's CG shark movie? The success of Sharknado really spawned a ton of bad shark movies. Let's just say that. And this is just one of the newer ones. With what seems like a low budget of like a school lunch, this movie kept me interested. Not because of the story, but just how funny and comical and terrible everything was in this movie. Like I said, trashy horror is the backbone of horror cinema. Was this the worst movie that I've seen? No. Would I recommend it? I would, yes. Just for the pure insanity of it, honestly. That's all we have for tonight. Hope you all enjoyed the video and Shark Side of the Moon. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and like the video. And I'll see you in the next one.